The Toyota Camry. It was the best-selling car in the US for several decades, but nowadays, sedans in general, they've kind of fallen by the wayside, and people tend to opt more for SUVs. 20 years ago, the midsize sedan segment was the biggest in the US. A lot of the Camry's previous competitors have already met their demise, so now there's really only just a few left. But in 2026, the Camry is still going strong, but so is its biggest competitor, the Honda Accord. Of course, this newest generation Camry is all hybrid. Most of the trim levels of the Accord also hybrid. Similar fuel economy, similar reliability. Looks and trim levels a bit different. So is this Toyota Camry still at the top of its class? Let's find out. So as always, we're gonna start this review here underneath the hood. What we have here is a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, and that is paired with 3 different electric motors. Combined, putting out 232 horsepower, 163 pound-feet of torque, and that is paired with an eCVT and all-wheel drive. 0 to 60 takes approximately 6.8 seconds. This has up to 598 miles of range on a full tank. Fuel economy is 46 miles per gallon all around. That's city, highway, and combined. And the capacity of the fuel tank is 13 gallons. So if the term Camry Nightshade sounds a little bit unfamiliar, that's because this is an all-new trim level for 2026. So in terms of where it is in the list of all the trim levels, it sits right between the SE and the XLE. Actually, it's basically the SE with an appearance package, and you can see it still says SE on the back. It looks a little bit sportier, and we have a ton of black accents all over the car. So starting up in the front, we have the badging. So we have the Toyota badge here, finished in gloss black. And then we have the front grille. It's different from the front grille on the SE. It pretty much borrows the grille from the XSE, but the insert is gloss black. On the XSE, it's paint matched to whatever the body color is, but here we have gloss black on the Nightshade. So gloss black on the grille, and then on the aerodynamic air vents off to the side, more gloss black. It's actually a pretty big vent, you can see right through it. So fully functional vents, and then we have more gloss black accents down at the very bottom. Now unfortunately, we do get the lower grade headlights that we get on the SE model, so that gives you an incandescent turn signal, which in 2026 really just should not be at this point. I'm pretty sure the Accord has full LED lighting standard on every trim, and then we have a single projector beam LED. That's fine, but yeah, that turn signal, no bueno, and we don't have any fog lights. Now let's take a look here at the side of the Nightshade. So we have gloss black on the mirror caps. We have this chrome accent that does look a little bit out of place. I think they should have just blacked out everything. Not power folding, but a lower trim level typically would not have that. But we do have a turn signal integrated at the bottom. We have a very small little side sill extension, if you would even call it that, at the very bottom, but it is flat black instead of gloss, but it still adds a little something. We have gloss black on the door handles. Those look really nice. And the 2 front doors do have smart key access. That is part of the convenience package, and that is gonna run you an extra $600. And also with that, we actually do get remote start. Now, when you look at the key fob, you wouldn't think so, but currently I have the car on. But if you hit the lock button twice and then press and hold and wait for the turn signals to blink 8 times, the remote start, it does work. I have used it several times because it has been cold as shit the past week, so that certainly is convenient. We have black trim going around the windows, but it is flat black. That would look better if it was glossy. Same with on the B-pillar. This color is known as Supersonic Red, and that's another thing that'll cost you extra, another $475. One of the main differences between the Toyota Camry and the Honda Accord is the options. You see, the Honda Accord basically has all its options built into the different trim levels, whereas Toyota, they offer 1,000,001 different packages as add-ons. So in a way, the Toyota is more customizable, but at the same time, it does feel like they're nickel and diming you quite a bit. Now turning to the rear, again, we have that incandescent turn signal. Just looks super cheap, super outdated. Again, rear turn signals, standard LED on the Accord. And I have to say, these taillights kind of look similar to the taillights from the previous generation Accord. And that light design seemed to be pretty unpopular, so I find it interesting that Toyota kind of copied it. But anyway, up top we have this small deck-lid spoiler finished in gloss black. Again, that's another Nightshade accessory that's part of the package. And then we have all gloss black on the badging, the Toyota badge, Camry, SE. This is the model with all-wheel drive and your hybrid electric vehicle badge. And then down at the bottom, we get this cool, I don't know if I'd call it a diffuser, kind of looks like one, but it's gloss black. It does look nice. And then off to the left, we have the dual chrome exhaust. Those do look good. You don't typically see real exhaust on a hybrid, so I do think that was a good thing for Toyota to include. And now to head into the trunk, the release button is right between the R and the Y. It is weighted, so when you hit the button, it does go right up. You can see we have this carpeted cargo mat that says Camry, and that's another thing you gotta pay extra for. So that, along with the floor mats on the inside, $319 altogether. The seats are 60-40 split there in the back, although the opening isn't all that big, but the trunk overall is pretty big. We have 15.1 cubic feet of storage, so that is a good sized trunk for a sedan. And if we take a little peek underneath, you can see we do have a donut spare tire, which is very good because, again, that's another thing hybrid and electric vehicles tend to do away with because of, rear mounted motors taking up space and there not being enough space for a spare, but we do still have it, and we have a jack and tool set. So luckily they are still trying to keep things practical. So now we're inside the all-new 2026 Camry Nightshade, and again, I'm gonna make some comparisons to the Honda Accord. While the layout of this interior is very intuitive and pretty well thought out, for overall aesthetics and material quality, I do have to give it to the Honda Accord. While this is very comfortable, the interior of the Accord just feels a lot more premium. Now granted, this isn't a fully loaded trim level, but overall, the Accord definitely feels a bit more upscale. But that doesn't make this a bad interior, so let's talk about it. The first point I want to go back to what I said before about Toyota nickeling and diming for all the options, because they are very guilty of that here on the interior. So we have a bunch of added packages, so let's go over it. So first we have the cold weather package that gives you the heated steering wheel and the heated front seats, which right now in this weather, I've been very glad to have. So cold weather package, that's $500. Then we got the moonroof. It's just a standard power moonroof, not panoramic. That'll set you back $870. Then we have the multimedia upgrade package, which is this larger 12.3-inch screen. The standard Nightshade comes with the smaller display. And unfortunately, that multimedia package is only the screen. It does not include the audio system. So the upgraded screen, $735. Then we have the convenience package, which gives you the auto dimming rear view mirror. So not digital, but auto dimming. And also that smart key access on the key fob. So those two things together, another $600. And then we have the floor mats that say Camry, but they're carpeted. They're not even all weather. So the carpeted floor mats plus that carpeted cargo mat in the trunk, that's another package, and it's another $319 for that. So to me, the concept of having like a mid-range trim level car with nearly $3,000 worth of options in addition to that paint color on the outside, but it's still feeling like a middle of the road trim level, I think that would kind of have me questioning my financial decisions. So now that we got that part out of the way, let's talk about material quality. So on the dash, it is plastic, but it is soft. It's kind of spongy. It's a faux leather. You can see the grain on it. Kind of believable, obviously. At this price point, no leather on the dash. We have a lot of gloss black here in the middle, but at least it's in a spot where you're not really gonna touch, aside from the screen. It's got these slats on it that kind of blend into the air vent at the end. And then on this lower part of the dash, we have this fabric material that we do see around the car. We don't have a leather interior, so we are gonna find fabric in a few places. And then over on the door panel on the top, it's the same as the dash, soft touch, nice place to rest your elbow. Then we have all the fabric coming down the side, and then the armrest, similar material to this, but not quite as soft, so it's not the most comfortable armrest. We do have automatic up down for all four windows. We don't have power folding mirrors here on this Nightshade. You do have to have a higher trim for that. And then we have a pretty small door pocket. I mean, you can put maybe 2 water bottles, but that's about it. And then here on the seats, we have a combination of materials. So you can see up here at the top of the seat is more of that fabric that we saw earlier. We also have it on the bolsters on the bottom here, but the rest of the seat is made of Softex, which is what Toyota calls their leatherette. It is pretty believable though. If no one told you it wasn't leather, I don't think you'd really question it. But we do have some white contrast stitching going along the edges, and we have some white accents that look pretty nice. The seat is 8-way power adjustable for the driver, manual controls for the passenger. And since we have that cold weather package, heated seats in the front. Now, one cool thing on the interior that the Nightshade gets you are these aluminum pedals. So these do look really nice. That is a nice touch. And here we have the steering wheel. It's the same steering wheel design as a lot of Toyota's other models, specifically like the Toyota Crown. This is the exact same wheel. Some people like it, some people don't. I'm kind of neutral. I'm not bothered by it. I'm not wowed by it either. The controls are pretty simple. We have the back button, phone. This right here is for the gauge display. We have our volume switch up and down and voice command. And then these buttons all right here are for the adaptive cruise control, lane keep assist. This is fast forward, rewind, and mode. And just like the seats, we do have some nice white contrast stitching on the inside. Now, just above the wheel, we have a 7-inch gauge cluster, so it's not fully digital, and this is the smaller display. Higher trim levels will have the bigger screen. Of course, no head-up display here on the Nightshade, but in terms of information it can show, you got, vehicle trip computer, settings for your safety systems, your EV ratio, which is something that I like that Toyota shows. This car does spend a lot of time in EV mode, as you can see from the time I've been in it for the last 20 minutes. 63% has been on EV and only 37% on the engine. Then you have your compass, your navigation, and then your audio info. And like a lot of Toyota's hybrids do, it has a power gauge. I do think you can change it to a tachometer if you wish. But then we have, off to the sides, your temperature gauge and your fuel gauge. That is not part of the display. We do have paddle shifters on the back, but this has an ECVT, so they don't do a whole lot. You can just kind of move your RPMs up or down, but there's no gears being changed. We also have 2-stage heat on the wheel. That's also part of the cold weather package. The heat function works really well. I've been using it pretty much every day that I've had this car. And now here in the center, we have the upgraded 12.3-inch screen. So we get wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Toyota does still offer Sirius XM without the use of a smartphone app. You can see here it has its own native navigation system. It's cloud-based, but I do believe you need a subscription to use that. You do get a free trial period, but then you have to pay after. Same with the Sirius XM. This also has an available Wi-Fi hotspot, again, something you have to pay for. And with all the packages and upgrades you can get on this thing, unfortunately, the one thing you can't upgrade is the audio system. So we have a base audio system with 6 speakers. Let's take a quick listen. And now as far as cameras, if I put it in reverse, you can see we only just have the backup camera, no 360. So you can change the view to a more wide angle lens, and you can change the trajectory lines or turn them off, but that's really about it. We do have rear cross traffic alert, does work pretty good, and the resolution is decent, although at night, I do like the AC controls because they're all physical buttons. They are not part of the display, they're not touch capacitive either. So you have your heated seats, again, part of that cold weather package. Front defroster, you have heated mirrors, you have the rear defroster, your heated steering wheel. We do have dual zone climate, I don't know if I just said that, so different temperatures for driver and passenger. Simple, easy to use, that's the way it should be. Now dropping down, let's check our connection. So we have a wireless charger, been using that, no issue, works perfectly fine. Then we have a USB-A port there on the left, 2 USB-C ports, and then we have 2 cup holders and then a big open area here for storage. We have our drive mode selector, Eco, Normal, and Sport. Pretty simple on the drive modes. You have EV mode, and then your brake hold and your electronic parking brake. The finish on this center console, it's kind of like a faux brush metallic almost. And then the armrest on the center console, it's the same material as the armrest on the door. It's not super soft and comfortable, I will say. Then we open it up. Quite large, plenty of storage in there, and it does go pretty deep, and that's the beauty of the electronic all-wheel drive. We don't have a drive shaft running underneath this, so it can go lower. And then we have a 12 volt in the center console. And then inside the glove box, and it is a pretty small glove box. do have to say. That is a little bit disappointing. And also, just a little thing most people would probably overlook and not even think about, we have a black headliner, which matches the rest of the interior. I do like that. So now we are in the back seat right behind where I'd have the driver's seat adjusted for myself at 6 feet tall. Now, typically the advantage of having a midsize sedan over a compact is more legroom, but I mean, there's an okay amount of legroom, but like nothing crazy. Now, I haven't really spent any time with the Toyota Corolla, but the Honda Civic has probably a comparable amount of legroom to this, and this is a much bigger vehicle. But what I do like back here is that we have a pocket behind both seats. You don't typically see that, especially in a lower trim level, and 2 air vents in the back and USB. So a USB-A, a USB-C. The air vents, I feel like you don't typically see in a lower trim level, so happy to see that. And then the seats here in the back are the same as up front. We have the Softex at the bottom, the fabric on the upper, still all the white accents. Headrest is fixed in place, and then fabric on the bolster at the bottom. We get 2 small LED dome lights up top, and then the center armrest, fold that down. That is super soft, and we get 2 cup holders. Now, unfortunately, as typical with these non-luxury vehicles, they did cheap out in the back, so we have hard plastic at the top, hard plastic on the side, and then still that slightly soft-ish rubbery texture on the armrest. MSRP of this 2026 Toyota Camry Nightshade with all-wheel drive with all its options is $38,519. A huge thank you to Toyota for sending out this Camry Nightshade for me to keep for an entire week so that I can give you guys the most thorough review possible. Please let me know your thoughts on this Camry Nightshade down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with a friend and subscribe. It'll really help the channel grow. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss any new videos, and be sure to follow at Optical Automotive on TikTok and Instagram, and check out the page on Facebook. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you guys later.